Okay, you know Gradle is a build tool, but what does that mean? In this video, I'll share my understanding of Gradle from a NodeJS perspective. First, it can help you initiating a project similar to npm init. It supports Gradle init. Here, we'll use application as an example. It supports multiple languages as you see here, whereas npm is made only for Node.js. Its build script language supports Groovy and Kotlin, whereas npm uses JSON. Later you'll see there is a file called build.gradle, which serves the similar functionality as package.json. The language you select here will be reflected in your build.gradle file or build.gradle.kts file. However, if you use IDEs like IntelliJ or Android Studio, you can also create Gradle projects using their UI wizard, which I guess is the mainstream method of creating a Gradle project. Second, Gradle manages dependencies for you, just as what npm does in Node. To add a new dependency, you simply add it to build.gradle file in its dependency section, which is very similar to package.json. After you save the file, your IDE will do the magic to sync or download the dependencies you just added. I actually tried to find an equivalent command line of npm install, but failed. Please leave a comment if you know how to. After the new dependency is synced, you can now import and use it in your project. The example here is hashing a string using gbcrypt. Third, Gradle runs tasks for you, which is very similar to npm run in Node.js. Tasks can be registered using tasks.register, and it supports code natively. After registration, you just run it using executable Gradle W. In this case, the task name is first, so you just run Gradle W first. However, if you want to run command lines, you need to define your task as exec type. There are many other types that a task can be, depending on what functionalities you need in a task. There is also another way of defining a task, which is an older approach compared to the previous one. Fourth, Gradle supports plugins, which I didn't find an equivalent in npm. Plugins are bundled, predefined tasks. It may or may not use a third-party library. If you run Gradle W tasks, you will get all the tasks available in this project. Let's take Flyway as an example, which is a database migration tool. To add this plugin, simply add its ID in plugin section. Run Gradle tasks again. You will see there's a new section called Flyway. We can now try one of its tasks, like Flyway clean, which of course throws an error. That's because we didn't configure the plugin correctly, and it doesn't have all the information it needs to connect to a database. Now let's try adding all the configuration it needs. Run it again. You will see a different error, which asks us to add Postgres dependency because the database we're trying to connect to is a Postgres database. You see, in this case, the plugin we use does require additional dependency. After adding that dependency, now the task can be executed without an issue. However, having the plugin there doesn't mean you have access to its library in your code. You still need to declare its dependency if you want to do some code migration in your code.